right. Had a great morning with the team. Opportunity to review our Purdue tape. Ultimately proud of the way that our defense was able to put 4 quarters together, finish with a shutout. Told the team after the game that was a team shutout. Ultimately, that was complimentary football. We were able to win the rushing battle, effectively run the football, control the clock. When you're doing those things, you're positioning your defense to play at a really high level, and a credit to Coach McGargle and that defensive crew for playing 4 quarters of our brand of football. Thing that I love about this team is, you got a group of defensive guys, defensive coaches that are, chomping at the bit to get to the tape, get back to practice, knowing that there is plenty to clean up from the game and things that we need to improve upon. And if we don't, we'll get exposed. And that starts with Coach McGargle. That starts with the leadership on this football team. You have a group of guys on this team in special teams on the offense side of the ball that honestly left the game with a bitter taste in their mouth, knowing that we did not finish in the 4th quarter the way that we expect to. There was a lot of opportunities left out on the field. I thought at times we responded well to maybe a 3-and-out or a turnover and came back the next drive and got the drive started the right way, but we're not able to finish those drives. Weren't able to finish with the field goal at the end of the game. Plenty of things this morning to address, clean up, be objective with our evaluation, and know that there is needed improvement as we approach this evening's practice. Excited to get back out on the field this evening with this group with an incredible challenge in front of us. Coach Rule has done an exceptional job at Nebraska, having a chance to be around him for a couple years. There's no one better in the country in terms of coaching fundamentals and technique. He's coached a lot of different positions, worn a lot of different hats, found a lot of success at a lot of different places, does an incredible job. Very talented quarterback, a running back that's thriving both in the run game and in the pass game, talented wide receivers on the perimeter. You're gonna test us on defense in a lot of different ways. Defensively, they're multiple, very talented, and a group that, if we don't do a great job of finding ways to consistently control the line of scrimmage, can give you fits. And their special teams at Nebraska this year have been, a difference maker for them. They got a returner back there that's scary with the ball in his hands. Arguably, you could say that they won the Maryland game because of some of the things that they were able to do on special teams. And we're going on the road in arguably the best environment, most hostile environment in all of college football. So incredible challenge in front of us. Looking forward to getting back with this group this evening as we get into prep.
Jake? Coach, 2 years ago you guys played at Nebraska, a similar point in the season. What you learned just in terms of the unique challenges presented by that environment at Memorial Stadium?
Yeah, ultimately you got to do a great job of just really handling your pre-snap process, specifically on offense. You got to do a great job of responding as momentum shifts in a football game. And ultimately, in this league, it's going to take 4 quarters. We got to be at our best in the 4th quarter. And what a great opportunity coming off of this week to challenge our team to improve in that area going into Nebraska week.
Yeah, Henry.
Hey, Coach. Got 4 wins in a row right into Saturday's game. Do you believe that momentum will play a factor? And if so, how are you looking to carry that momentum?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's funny you asked. We addressed that as a football team, this morning. Momentum is a real thing, in a day and age where you talk about analytics and numbers, which are all very important things that you need to utilize. Momentum is real, but it's something that you can't take for granted. Like, why does this team have a little bit of momentum behind it right now? It's because we have been incredibly intentional about focusing on daily improvement. And if we can focus on daily improvement, we're going to give ourselves a chance. But just because we've won a few games in a row doesn't mean that we're positioned to win this next game. We got to get back to work and have a great Monday.
Matt?
Coach, after the game, said you're optimistic you'd have Caleb back for Nebraska. Is that still the case?
Yes, he'll practice today.
Jake?
Coach, you had a 9+ minute advantage in the time of possession against Penn State, then 15+ minutes against Purdue. I mean, how in recent weeks have you just seen the brand of football this team wants to play start to come to fruition?
Yeah, it's awesome to see. I mean, one thing that I've learned over the years, just because you're winning time of possession doesn't mean you're going to win football games. But ultimately, when you're able to consistently run the football and operate with efficiency on offense and sustain drives, it's really easy to stand up here and talk about complementary football, but where does it actually show up for your football team? And specifically these last 2 weeks, that's shown up, and it's positioned our defense to play at the level that they're playing right now, and it's a credit to our offensive line, our backs, the way that Preston's operating in the pocket. It's something that needs to continue. It's who we are.
Coach, in terms of Nebraska's performance against Minnesota, the Gophers really found a way to shut them down, just held them to 6 points. How much do you see that as a blueprint for maybe you guys would be able to, for how you would be able to beat them, as opposed to this is an outlier performance from that Nebraska offense?
Yeah, a couple things there. I think you watch the film, you evaluate it objectively, you give Minnesota a ton of credit for the way that they performed and the way that they closed that game out in the second half. You acknowledge that, from a Nebraska standpoint, that is an outlier. I mean, you take the entire season and look at what Nebraska's been able to achieve. Really good football team that got off to a great 5-1 start. Didn't have their best performance against Minnesota. And then in terms of the blueprint, you take nuggets and observe objectively in the tape, but come back to, like, who are we, and what do we need to do to position ourselves for success on Saturday?
Coach, post-game you mentioned that Brenton Flakes has really grown up these past 6 months. In what sense have you seen that, and what do you think has allowed his role to really blossom this year?
It's neat to see the consistency that we saw from Flakes, throughout fall camp. As you all know in this room, this is such an incredible place to be a student athlete, and ultimately there's things that our guys are balancing in terms of their preparation to win in the Big Ten and the academic rigor that exists here. I think you're seeing him start to understand what that needs to look like, once we get into the core of the Big Ten season. And that's going to need to continue. And a lot of that comes back to just extra time that he's taking post-class, in the afternoons, in the evenings, of really getting into film study, taking some extra time to put himself in a spot where he's, playing really fast. And his conditioning is something that's showing up. I mean, just the overall energy that he's playing with right now is something that jumps out on film. And, he knows that can't just be 5 plays a game. That's got to show up on every single opportunity that he gets.
Ted?
As a follow-up coach, couldn't you say that about your entire defensive front? Not just the front 7, I'm talking about those 8 guys up front, based on what you just said.
100%, Ted. We talk about being a line of scrimmage-based football program. There's a standard that we expect and demand out of that D-line room in terms of the energy that they're going to play with. And Saturday was, a culmination of a lot of hard work, a lot of great coaching, and a group that is really starting to find their rhythm. And it's not just one guy. It's that group as a whole, impacting and affecting the quarterback, impacting and affecting the run game. We'll go as our D-line goes on defense, and when they set the tone, it positions us for our brand of football.
Matt?
Continuing on the D-line, Michael Kilbane's a player that played for you as a true freshman, seemed to kind of move into tackle a little bit last season. Now he's back making an impact at defensive end. What has been your point of view of his path these past 3 years and what he brings to the table this season?
That dude is a special football player. In my opinion, he's one of the best big ends in the country. And Mike isn't concerned about anything other than having a great day today, but that's a young man that's got a lot of football ahead of him, in my opinion. Love the fact that he has position flexibility. When needed, we can bump him down. In pass rush situations, we can bump him down. But, ultimately, I think he's one of the best in the country as a big defensive end.
Jake?
In recent weeks, we've seen backfield production out of Caleb, Joe, Deshaun, and now even Robbie Preckle. I mean, how much does the depth that you have in the backfield really excite you about the potential for this offense to continue growing throughout the year?
No, it fires me up, and it needs to continue. It's a credit to that entire room. it's a credit to Coach Thompson. It's a credit to Cam Porter. I mean, the maturity of that room. You know, I told Cam after the game, like, dude, like this football team, who we are, our DNA, like has Cam Porter all over it. And that running back room is the prime example of that. And it's something that we need to continue to lean into. You know, being in the heart of the Big Ten schedule, we're going to need that entire room to continue to elevate their play.
Henry.
Coach Zomo Radakai was named by The Athletic to their all-freshman midseason team. Just wondering what you see, what he's been contributing, and how pleased you are with the fact that you could have a redshirt freshman be getting the dominant lion's share of the snaps in offensive line.
Yeah, you know, really cool story with Mo. I think Mo was our last commit, you know, in that class of 24. Actually signed on the second signing day. Incredible young man, loves the game of football, unbelievable family. But one of those guys that, like, there wasn't all this hype around, you know, his signing at Northwestern. And ultimately he showed up, he got to work, has improved daily, showed some really promising signs last year in his opportunities to play, has continued to elevate. And where I give Mo a lot of credit is in a world where there's, as much as that's like an incredible honor, in a world where there's more noise than ever, it can be difficult for a young man just to focus on, you know, the task at hand. And he'd be honest with you, like, there's been some ups and downs this season for him in terms of, like, the standard that he holds himself to. I think what's shown up on film these last couple weeks is a young man that's just straining to play with great pad level, finished plays, and wants to be coached hard. And, you know, he has a bright future, and Dangan is a critical piece to what we're doing right now.
Coach, you talk about outside noise, and obviously you guys are 5-2 on the season, one win away from securing a bowl game appearance. How do you kind of like carry that and like make sure that pressure doesn't affect the team? Yeah,
that's a great question, and I appreciate you asking it. Like those are the things that we have to do a good job of really isolating and understand that, like, nowhere on our list of goals does it say make a bowl game. You know, nowhere does it say, you know, beat Purdue. You know, ultimately, you know, this team set out to do something really special this year. The group has done an incredible job of taking, like, really isolated focus on the task at hand. And I think what this team needs to continue to, like, lean into is, you know, our time is waning as a group. Like, it's crazy to think that we're already, you know, past the midway point of the regular season. Continue to enjoy one another, have fun doing something that, you know, all this entire group has dreamt of doing in terms of playing Big Ten football, and stay on the attack. Like, this group has cut it loose. We know who we are. We're attacking our preparation. We're attacking on game day. And I don't want to say play loose, but play free, and trust our preparation.
Jake.
Coach, when you look at the year-to-year improvement in your offensive line play, how much of that's just a credit to the work that Coach O'Boyle and Coach Olson have done in just collaborating to get that unit up to speed in the Big Ten?
Yeah, a lot of people deserve credit on that. The entire room, the depth that exists in that room because of that depth. I mean, going back to the spring of 2024, we had 7 offensive linemen participate in spring ball. Hard to build a room when you got 7 guys practicing. But the overall depth in that room, even guys that haven't shown up on the field for us that are just continuing to improve. I've mentioned it before, but Coach O'Boyle, Coach Olson, their willingness to check their egos at the door and go to work with a common cause of helping that group elevate its play. And then it's the leadership in that room, all starting with, you know, Captain Caleb Tiernan, and just setting the tone. And the thing that's been neat about that group is to see how it's come together, the cohesiveness that's required for great O-line play. You know, wasn't there in January, February, or March, but the progression we've seen for the entire room and the togetherness that exists, you know, it's fun to see, and also fun to continue to challenge that group. You know, we got better. Like we got more in the tank. Excited to see that group continue to grow.
Coach, I wanted to ask about Robbie Preckle, because he comes in as a true freshman, listed as a tight end, and kind of moves into more of like a fullback blocking role, now getting some opportunities in the run game. I just kind of wanted to ask about how you guys have created this role for him, how you figured out that he's good in this, and I guess how he's kind of earned this opportunity as, at such a young age.
It's super interesting because, like, Robbie's a prime example of, as a coach and an evaluator, you can get in your own way. Like, the recruiting process with Robbie is like, well, what is he? Is he big enough to play tight end in the Big Ten? Can he play fullback? And we were getting in our own way in that process. Ultimately, to Robbie's credit, he came to camp, competed his butt off, and left us no choice. We would be crazy after his camp performance to think that that's not someone that we want on our football team. And where he's earned an opportunity at such a young age, I'll give you a tangible example from, roughly, 16 hours ago. Last night, we're in late. We're getting into our Nebraska prep as a staff. My family stops by for a quick hello, so I get to see the kids on a Sunday. The boys want to go play some catch in the indoor before they take off. We go out to the indoor, we're playing some catch, and guess who's out on the field, catching balls off the jugs machine? It's Robbie Preckle. That's just who Robbie is. That's what he does. In his free time, he wants to get better at football. That's how he's earned that opportunity.